right. Well, I think it's about enough bullshit. Okay, that's done. I can never talk. That should be the intro now. There you go.
There you go.
I'm John.
Hey, I'm Paul.
And this is What If Geeks. And, well, another week has gone by. So now, by the time you hear this, we'll actually record this a week in advance because Paul's got to go on travel and run around doing his own thing.
Yep.
So we're recording ahead. We're going to drop tonight. It's actually the 12th. We're going to drop the Bandersnatch audio tonight so you can listen to that episode and tell us what you think. But then next week on the 19th is when you'll hear this one. So, hello from the past. Or further
or from
in the
past.
future.
Or from the future.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, hello in the future. Somebody get in a DeLorean and figure out what the hell I'm talking about. So, tonight we decided to do something fun because we know that this coming week we have the Oscars. And I threw something at Paul, which is kind of like reaching for an amateur podcast. Because usually you've been doing this kind of show for a while when you finally decide to do something stupid like this. But I've been doing shit stupid for 43 years, so I might as well not stop. I said, hey, what if instead of how they have the Oscars and the Razzies, so what if we do the Geekies? And he said, I love it. So we sat down and we came up with a handful of different awards to give out. And we just kind of threw it off at random. This first one, we'll get better as we go. I think maybe we'll do these every year because now that we've talked about it, I really like this idea.
Yeah.
Just us coming up with our own shit.
And I've got a couple added categories at the end that we should think about for next year. But yeah, we have good categories. Okay. We have some different stuff than the Oscars do. Obviously, we're not going to have best cinematography and best, art direction and those sorts of things. We have best fight and best ass whipping and best, some of that stuff. So
yeah, and fun. By the time you're listening to this, I'll have already posted to Facebook and Instagram or whatever our list of awards. So for the three of you that are actually listening on a regular basis and interacting with us at all, you can kind of throw out your own stuff and come up with some awards of your own for us for discussion either later on this year or then when we finally do another award show next year. We can add those. So it's going to be a work in progress like everything else in this show. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I want to do something where we can kind of have a few annual events that we do together. Now, every year that when we do this on an annual basis, we'll probably move into, just for that year.
Right.
This one, since it's our first award show, and it's only our 10th show anyway, we figure, we'll go for, I tried to keep most of mine in 2018.
I did too.
But if something pops in our head while we're talking or any of these awards go past 2018, so be it. It'll be fine. After that, in the future, we'll go on to just for that year, right, for 2019, 2020, whatever, until Paul gets sick of talking to me. So, all right. So that'll be the end of this episode. So for the first part of this episode, I guess we'll talk about, let me see. We'll talk about
our buddy Florida Man.
Yeah. You want to talk about Florida Man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, Paul, you barely had an episode of that thing. So I had one. I think you actually might have touched on this before. If I can pop up my internet. Basically, it said for the second time in just as many weeks, Florida Man was arrested for throwing a burrito at his girlfriend.
That's the one I have too.
Oh, you did? Okay, all right. Go ahead. You go with it.
Yeah.
I'll get my other one.
So for those of you who don't know, Florida Man is a subgenre of special breed of scumbag who does something crazy, arrested for some strange reason. And so tonight we both ended up on this story because how can you not? Man batters girlfriend with a burrito. And the lead of the story is This is from February 12th. For the second time in as many weeks, a Florida man has been arrested for battering a woman with a burrito. Police charge Peter Eloquois, 41, got into an argument with his girlfriend Friday in their Port Richey residence. He allegedly shoved the woman in a chair. That's not the funny part. He threw his burrito at the victim, striking her in the face with a food item for the second time in as many weeks. So you, Mr. Eloquois, are a particular breed of burrito-wasting scumbag, doing domestic violence, which is terrible. Doing it with a burrito puts you in a special category, and therefore we describe you as Florida Man.
All right, so I actually lost the last article I was on, but actually I lost the one that I wrote down. This the article that I read was Florida man finds bomb in his yard and cuts it with a chainsaw.
Because of course.
Well, yeah, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
So essentially, this dude, and it was, I forget what county it was. It wasn't too far from here, but he found what looked like a pipe bomb, and he cut it with a chainsaw while he was working in his yard. And then he called the police, send somebody, I think I found a bomb. Meanwhile, he's already cut through this thing.
Right.
So it didn't detonate. Cops came, they were like, yeah, it's a bomb. Essentially, it was the same equipment that they were using when they were cutting the channel in that town.
Oh, wow.
So it was one of those, and
right.
It just didn't detonate. So they took it off, and they detonated it, and it blew up.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, you're lucky you didn't blow yourself up. So yeah, that was my Florida man. That was my second one because I found the first one with you with the burrito.
Oh, that's great.
And it's funny too because I swear that you brought the original burrito up in a previous episode, which is kind of funny because we've only had like 7 or 8 episodes. So, but yeah, then there's another one about a dude that dressed himself up as a dog. And videotaped himself
having intercourse with a dog.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll let that one. You can just have that one. Just go ahead and look it up.
It's amazing how many of the how the gene pool drains into Florida.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean, it does look like a funnel. We're dropping all our shit right.
Send us your rocket scientists and your neurosurgeons. Stop sending us guys who film themselves doing it with a dog and hitting women with burritos.
At the Statue of Liberty, they have, send me you're hungry, you're tired, whatever.
Right.
Down here, it's send us all your shit.
Send us your scumbags and rednecks and dirtbags.
All right, there you go.
Awesome.
So, now, shall we move on to...
You got some news, right? Some upcoming movie news?
Yeah. Now, do you want to move on? Do you want to just close out with the holiday stuff?
Oh, yeah, do it.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah, do it now.
All right. So, because we're recording this in advance... when you hear this, Valentine's Day will have passed. So hopefully you suckers did something right for your significant other. Now, do you guys do Valentine's Day big at your house?
We don't. My wife told me when we first started dating, she said, I don't do Valentine's Day. It is a made-up Hallmark holiday. And I looked at her like, this is a trap. I know this is a trap. I'm just not sure how this is going to get sprung on me. So the first year... I got her something, and she was like, I don't do Valentine's Day. I really don't. And I'm like, Still pretty sure this is a trap. Year number 2, I got her a little bit less. And she was like, one of these days you'll figure this out. I really don't do Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I still think this is a trap. We've been married now. Upcoming in May will be our 11th anniversary. I'm still pretty sure it's a trap. So I still get a little something, a card or whatever. And then she'll tell me again she doesn't do Valentine's Day.
Well, see, I learned my lesson after the first 2 times. But I was the same. Yeah, Heather told me, no, it's a made-up holiday. I don't need a holiday to tell you I love you. I show you every day. I cook dinner for you. I clean your underwear. Shut up. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. And for anyone who knows my wife, that's exactly how she is. She doesn't do the hugs and affection thing. Most she's done is since Noah's been born, she's gotten a little more affectionate. But that's really, we always joke around that like he broke something in her when she got pregnant with him, because she was never at all affectionate, ever. I mean, it was it was funny. I used to always joke around that like she's just woman enough so I don't feel gay. She's like just like a guy. But Valentine's Day, nope, no, she don't do it. I got her. She jokes around all the time. Every year we talk about Valentine's Day, people be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Heather's like, "I told them every year, nope." And I got her candy and flowers and blah 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 the first year, and she was like, "That's nice. I didn't get you shit." Okay, fair enough. Next year, got her a card, maybe a flower. I didn't get nothing.
Yep.
Okay. After that, I learned my lesson. And then it became all the younger guys, talking to me like, "What'd you get your wife? Give us some good pointers." I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. We don't do it." "Oh, that's a trap." I'm like, No. That's how I was. I was Admiral Akbar. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yep.
Nope. No, I learned my lesson.
I am 99% sure it's not a trap, but there's 1% of me that, when we're 80, she's like, "You've never given me anything for Valentine's Day." I knew it. I knew it was a trap. All these years. I knew it was a trap.
No, see, I just recorded her saying she didn't do it, and I just show back. Here's your evidence.
Yeah.
No. So, so neither one of us do Valentine's Day with our spouses. In fact, it drives Heather crazy now that Noah is in the school age where he brings her home every year something for Valentine's Day, and she's got to be like, "Oh, it's so adorable." Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I mean, she likes everything he brings her anyway. So, so we don't do Valentine's Day, but why don't you guys let us know if you're in the same boat as us, or what extent do you have to go to make your significant other, I'll get that word out eventually, significant other happy? Guys and girls, what do you guys got girls got to do in order for, Valentine's Day to go off well?
Yeah.
And on that note, what I'd like to do is in the celebration of Valentine's Day and love and Cupid and all that other bullshit, real quick, we can discuss one or two couples out of geek culture that kind of stand out, to us. I think starting it out, what do you got off the top of your head?
Spider-Man, Mary Jane.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy.
Yep.
Almost blanked on her name. Batman, Catwoman.
Yep. Cyclops, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Yep. The Cyclops, Emma Frost stuff later on never really sat well with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it. You tried to do something different, but it just never. No, it's always Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Yeah.
The fact that they kept killing her off, bringing her back, that was getting old. It was getting to be like the Clone Saga.
Right.
Just stop, do something. But it's always Cyclops and Jean Grey, and I'm not up to speed on some of my X-Men stuff. I have to go back and read a lot more because I know they brought like the original X-Men from the past to the present and everything in not like last year or so.
Right.
And then I think they're back home now. I don't know, but I don't think they've ever solved the current Cyclops and Jean Grey thing where like they're together again.
Right.
But them. Outside of comics, Luke and Leia. I mean, whoops. Han and Leia.
That should have worked out.
Should have. Now, Han and Leia, I think, for me, as far as movies go, like sci-fi, whatever, that's... And the way they play it in the original trilogy, that just that... The I love you, I know. It's there. Like, you see that connection from the beginning, really, and it grows through the trilogy, where you really get... Okay, you understand what they love about each other, and you believe that they do, So I think that that one for me is probably like the biggest one in the movies. Anyway,
it's sad to realize in Force Awakens that it didn't work out.
It didn't work. Yeah, it killed me. But I mean, it makes sense too. I mean, he was always a smuggler or whatever, and I got what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got after the sun falls to the dark side, there wasn't enough to keep them together.
Right.
And it's sad. It really is. It's sad. And you don't see that outside of that one hug. You don't really see,
Their relationship, made it through him getting frozen in carbonite. You think it would make it through that.
You would think, yeah. And again, if you go to the expanded universe, the relationship grows a lot more.
Yep.
You see a lot more of that expanded universe in the comics and the books and stuff. Which so is one of the reasons why that couple means so much to me, because you see them as parents going through all that in the expanded universe, and then Well, now it's Legends, so whatever. But all right, so yeah, there's couples for you. I can't think of anything. Okay, Deadpool and Colossus. Because Deadpool loves Colossus.
Just the general Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman bromance thing.
No, Colossus, not Wolverine. I'm talking about Colossus in the Deadpool movies. You gotta,
but he, right? He's got the Hugh Jackman mask and all the stuff, and
right. The fact, the Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in real life, their bromance is amazing.
Yeah, that's funny.
But but in the two Deadpool movies, him with Colossus is just, there's something there that's just so weird. It's funny.
It's about to trail off into a weird place. But in the comics, I always thought Superman ought to end up with Wonder Woman and not with Lois Lane.
Because she's the only one that can take it?
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
The physics of having a relationship with Superman don't seem to work out well for Lois. Like, it's going to require Wonder Woman to handle all that.
Yeah. Because the first time that fetus kicks.
Right.
Well, no, I don't know. Does the fetus absorb solar energy through?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't know. Okay. All right, so the fetus might be okay. But yeah, that first anyway. All right, there's a Robot Chicken episode about that.
The physics of their lovemaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So for any of you who are Robot Chicken fans,
yes.
there is a quick episode about that.
Yep.
About him and Lois and
how that would
oral
work.
sex,
yeah.
and it's not good.
How that would work.
But it's funny as hell. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. So yeah, there you go. Superman and Wonder Woman, and actually they do in a whole bunch of the alternate storyline. Injustice is one of the best ones, and where she's like his biggest supporter, and then she actually like turns him to do things. Like, but yeah, him and Wonder Woman, I always thought would be together. So all right, there you go. So you guys, let us know what your favorite couples are in geek culture or just whatever, just random, fiction, whatever. Hit us up. Let us know what you had to do for Valentine's Day to make it all special, and we'll move on from there. So I think the last thing we got before we get into our award show is I read a couple of things in recent news. Both had to do with Disney, so if Paul's got anything else he can throw in here while I'm going. First thing, and by now, by the time you hear this, it's going to be about a week old, so it's just enough time to simmer and fester inside of you so we can get your true opinion on it. I've already posted it to our Facebook page, but the trailer for Aladdin dropped during the Grammys. And I sent it to Paul, and I said, I don't know quite what I think about this. And so what did you say?
I said, most of the movie looks really interesting, except for Will Smith in Blueface. And I think the place we are with, the governor of Virginia having allegedly dressed in blackface.
Papa Smurf has filed a complaint. No.
Yeah, and that Smurfs ought to be outraged that he would appear in Blueface. Papa Smurf, Smurfette,
and Avatar,
Jokey, they all ought to be really upset and demand Will Smith resign. But he looks like he's playing Will Smith, right? He looks like he's playing somewhere between like the Fresh Prince character and the general sort of what we think about when we think about Will Smith.
Yeah, and this always goes back to just like Heather and I discussed it because, we discuss everything. We like him overall as an actor and a lot of things that we see him. The first thing you always think of is Fresh Prince, right? But you see movies like Bad Boys. Was it the 12 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
One where he's, giving up whatever. Pursuit of Happiness. There's a few in there that are like really, really, really good that I enjoyed. I like both Bad Boys. I saw the poster for the next one they're coming out with. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Again, we got that whole nostalgia thing going on. I'm good with it. But we've said, or I've mentioned it to you before, whenever you cast Will Smith, there's a 75% chance that movie is going to become a Will Smith vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to have the moment. He's got to have, Men in Black, he was really good because Tommy Lee Jones he was a good counterbalance to him, right?
Right.
But you get beyond that to Wild Wild West or whatever, where it's like him. So it's all about him and doing a theme song and this and that, whatever. There are certain times when he's acting where he has to have the Suicide Squad was a perfect example. I was, putting him in there because I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And for the most part, he was he was good in the movie, but it did exactly what I was afraid it was going to do. And toward the end, you had Deadshot had to have that kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
He had to have. There were certain things that you just see in a Will Smith vehicle that he's got to be the one that solves the end conundrum or whatever, right?
Yep.
He's got to be the one that finishes it. He's got. And going into it, everyone all thought that was a Harley Quinn movie, right? So overall, sure, it was a Suicide Squad movie, but not really. It became a Will Smith movie.
Right.
Harley Quinn just happened to more Margot Robbie outshone him because everybody was like, holy shit, look at her. But in the end, his character was exactly what I was afraid it was going to be. That's the first thing I got out of this trailer when, they do the whole, everything looks good.
Yep.
Like when you see Iago the parrot fly through, it looks just like, I'm like, wow. Okay,
yep.
They do, the whole sands and everything. Even the guy, you don't hear him talk at all. The one who's playing Aladdin, I don't know the actor's name. I saw it one time. But okay, you've got nobody can complain about whitewashing or whatever.
Right.
You've got everybody accurate as far as I could tell,
mm-hmm.
right? He looks like Aladdin. Sure, yeah, I didn't hear him speak. I saw him jump once in the damn trailer. Okay, that looks cool too. It reminded me of the video game.
Yep.
Real quick. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then you see the lamp and the blue smoke, and the first thing you hear is real faint, but you hear it, woo! I'm like, really? And I said it before. I said, Will Smith is going to woo in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I called it. Thanks. Appreciate that. Then he pops out, and I swear, I thought, you remember back when we were growing up, when the hue setting on your TV was not quite right?
Yep.
That's what I thought was wrong with my iPhone. I was like, I didn't even know you could do that on an iPhone. What the fuck just happened? Well, there you go. Even still, I'll hold off for now because it was only that much. It was such a small bit, and they did definitely
But in that short scene, what you get is as you talked about, Will Smith as Fresh Prince, as Mike Lowry in Bad Boys, as the guy in Men in Black. I mean, they're all sort of the same character, right? Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what you got. And now he's just magical and a genie, but you're going to get the same kind of attitude.
He's going to rap.
Right.
At some point, he's going to rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw right away. I started with the whole, in West Acrobat, born and raised.
Right.
And I saw it. Somebody did it already. I was like, oh, damn,
funny.
you beat me to it. So I'll find that again. I think I saved it on my phone. I'll post it to our Facebook just so everybody can enjoy it.
And I think we said this when we talked about what was going to happen with this trailer. Like, it's going to very quickly become a meme, and there it is.
It is. Oh, yeah. It is. There's a few. I've already seen a couple of them with him, and I'm just like, yeah, it's all over Reddit. It took. God bless the internet. It takes them 45 seconds. I don't know how you guys.
How do you do that? How do they do that so quickly?
I don't know. I'm still trying to learn how to edit basic shit.
Right.
They're up there as soon as it drops, they've popped him into 5 different things. I'm like, holy cow. So yeah, I don't know. I'll hold out hope because it's Disney and I want it to be good. I don't know. The rest of it looks good, so we'll see. And again, there's like the first thing Heather said. They probably didn't want to do this one just because you can't touch Robin Williams.
Right. It had to be different. We talked about this before. It has to be different.
Yeah.
But just getting Will Smith makes it, like you said, it makes it a Will Smith vehicle.
Right. Yeah. Had you got Heather said it yesterday when we talked about it after the thing dropped. She was like, this is just one of those ones. Because she asked me, she's like, do you think they would have tried to get Robin Williams if he was still alive? I said, oh, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got James Earl Jones to come back as Mufasa. They'd get Robin Williams. Now, you might see a little bit more of Williams' face in it, but I don't think it would be what you're seeing right now. Right. I think it would have been more CGI akin to a Thanos, where you see Josh Brolin's face in there, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You still see the characters. So I think you would see more of the cartoon genie if Robin Williams was alive, and then it would just be him being him. But yeah. So I don't know. I wish you the best of luck. That's all I can say. And then the other article I read briefly, and I don't have it in front of me anymore, but I did have it saved on my iPhone. I could probably try to find it here while we talk, because I know I sent it to you. But one that does have me somewhat excited is that apparently in a recent interview, they mentioned that Disney would, there it is, yep, Disney is going to let the R-rated stuff, as far as like Deadpool and whatever, they're gonna let that keep going.
Yeah. So
they're still kind of working it out, but I guess I forget what. Let's see if I can read this here. Okay, yeah, they talked to Bob Iger, and he promised that the Deadpool franchise would remain R-rated, and they're looking at other more adult-oriented Marvel projects as well. So they'll continue that business. They're going to be very careful how they brand it. Again, this is just going off of an article that I read on JoBlo.com. It's got nothing else, but they're quoting him, so I'm going off of their article.
Yeah. It'll just be outside of the sort of mainstream Marvel cinematic universe.
Yes, yeah, and it'll be, I think, most of like what we talked about before when we discussed how they buy out Fox and how they're going to keep this. Okay, they did it with Touchstone and Miramax or whatever else they had. They had other avenues,
right?
So they'll go that route.
Yeah.
They'll keep the 21st Century Fox or whatever, and Deadpool and whatever else they want to be will be under there. Now, they've also recently discussed that a rumor that I've heard in the articles I've read is that the Black Widow movie is a go again.
Oh, is that right?
And it's supposed to be R-rated.
Yeah.
So now they said in this article that they're going to be very careful, that they express to parents, hey, look, Disney is here and these R-rated movies are under this umbrella here or whatever. So they're finding their way to say, make sure you understand what this is.
Right.
You can't blame us if we're telling you, look, this is, and again, it comes to be a parent.
Right. I was going to say, parents have to do their job.
You have to do your job. And sorry to like 90% of the people out there, not just parents, just everybody on a regular basis, because it's something that I see more and more nowadays. Nobody just wants to do their damn job.
Right.
Just do your job.
Right.
It comes to like we were talking about with customer service and stuff. Or I just heard recently around just my HOA, people talking like my neighborhood, people trying to find different handyman or this or that or whatever, right? And I heard it on the news and I was laughing because I'm like, you know what? I just went through this with like all of my neighbors looking for someone to do this or that or whatever. Just getting a call back.
Right.
Is ridiculous nowadays. Yeah. I'm like, what? I'm trying to give you money.
Right. I want you to come here and do a service for which I will pay you.
Yeah, and you won't even call me back to see what the hell I want.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. That is more prevalent today than I've ever seen. Yep. So again, but this kind of revolves around that whole, because this is my uneducated brain talking, trying to like, I've got the grasp of what the problem is, but I don't know how to fine tune what I want to say. But the overall view of R-rated movies on within Disney or whatever, and this kind of stuff is all under the same umbrella. Mm-hmm. You have to take personal responsibility. You have to do things for yourself, or you just have to have a basic sense of responsibility. If you have a business, you have to call people back. Mm-hmm. If you're a parent, you have to parent what your kids watch.
Right.
It's not that difficult.
Well, and Disney's had a branch that has done R-rated movies before. It was I don't know if it was Touchstone or Miramax.
I forget which one it was.
It wasn't Miramax. It was maybe it was Touchstone. It was one of those. Anyway, they've done this before.
Yeah, they've done it.
Yeah,
and it's fine. Just, they're a great company. Mm-hmm. They're gonna figure out how to. Okay, look, this is it.
Right
now, we fall back again to, if I were writing shit, or if I were the one just like carte blanche to do whatever I wanted with this whole universe, I could have so much fun with this right now. Because now you're bringing all this stuff in, and I think you're going to start to see the hints drop on X-Men, Fantastic Four, whatever. They're coming, right? Because everything's falling into place now. They do the R-rated stuff with like Deadpool or whatever. We go back to what I told you about. You can still work Deadpool into the MCU. You can do a PG whatever. The X-Men did it in Fox. Now, Disney itself might not want to have the F-bomb drop in there or whatever.
Right.
But if you go the route of like the X-Men movies where I think like Wolverine said, go F yourself, whatever, right? And that was like 1 or whatever, and then it's like PG-13. But they go more than that, and it's R or whatever it is. You can do that because you don't have to show a lot of the blood and violence that Deadpool normally shows, but you can have him bouncing around within that thing and have him like really understand like he knows he's in a PG-13 movie.
Right.
You know, even like pick up something it could be cheesy. You could just say like, you know, like the script, and it'll say like, you know, Avengers 8, whatever, PG-13, and he'll be like, I'm in a PG-13 movie, whatever, you know, whatever. And because he already talks to the audience. So you can really play on that and have him understand that he only gets one F-bomb.
Right.
And let him save it the whole movie, and then let someone like Wolverine be like, fuck. And then just watch Deadpool lose his shit. Right. You know, just like lose his mind, like, son of a bitch. You know? Yeah. You can really play on that and really play it for laughs and have everybody just lose it and really gain a cult following on just that kind of crap. You know? Because they do it already. You can really play. You know, there's creative ways to play with it. I think you can have a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the R rating. Maybe the first thing you do is throw the R rating in Aladdin and have Deadpool come in and shoot Will Smith. Hey, there you go. Have That'd Ryan Reynolds as the genie. I'm done. I just wrote a new movie. Cameo. There you go. All right. So that was all the news that I had. Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, cool. So hopefully, let us know what you guys think. R-rated, can it work? Let us know what you think of Aladdin. And well, you know, okay.
When does it come out? When does Aladdin come out?
Oh,
it's summer. It's this summer.
Yeah, it is summer. Okay. It'll pop up here in a second. But we can also, you know, let us know what you guys think of anything to do with the Disney live action stuff that they're doing. You know, because there's a lot of stuff. It's May. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Got it.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think of like the live action stuff. I mean, for the most part, I think they've been good. I haven't seen like even half of them, but word of mouth, I've gotten they've been pretty good. I love the Jungle Book one. I thought it was great. I'm really looking forward to the Lion King. Dumbo looks really good, and I kind of see what they're doing there. It's not the exact movie, right? You know, I heard Beauty and the Beast was like almost a shot-for-shot remake with a little bit of added stuff in there. Yeah, but yeah, Dumbo looks like it's going to be a little bit different, you know. But like I didn't see the mouse in there anywhere, but I did hear the girl be like, you know, use the magic feather, Dumbo, or whatever. So I think she's supposed to represent whatever he was in the movie, you know. So you know, cool. Yeah. It looked good. Like I said, you know, when they first played the Baby Mine thing, I was like, thanks a lot.
Well, and it brings it to a new generation of people that maybe don't see, because it's harder to find the old ones. It's harder to find Dumbo anymore. It's harder to find the original Jungle Book, right?
Not for long. We're gonna be streaming here pretty soon.
Yeah, until the streaming service comes out.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Yeah, I'm officially quitting everything else except for streaming services, apparently, because damn. There you go. Biggest surprise. Nobody's got cable anymore. All right. So yeah. So I think you're right. It's bringing it to a new generation, and it'll be fun to see what they can do with some of these. Hopefully, Aladdin doesn't shit the bed, and the rest of them look pretty good too. I don't know what they're gonna come out with after Lion King. They got a lot they could do, but you know, Hercules,
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I know
that might be harder to do.
Well, no,
it's gonna be harder to animate.
Aquaman,
the crab,
you can CGI
Flounder,
that shit.
Scuttle, some of her pals.
CGI Yeah, they might look kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, CGI.
You just CGI the face of like
they
just the
look
mouth
like
area or something.
Yeah, because they'll look like the real fish in like Aquaman, but the mouth will be moving like the Jungle Book. Right. So, yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. There you go. Run with that one. All right. So on. That was a half an hour of bullshit. Right. That was nice. All right. So on to the main event. We are here for the Geekies because everyone's got their Oscars and their Razzies, but we're the best. Or the best in a 5-foot radius.
That's right. All right. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah, we can take a break. All right. Okay, never mind. We will be back with the Geekies.
Back.
All right. So
hey, we're back.
We're back again. During our little break there, we okay. So all things being forthcoming, we were just trying to figure out what we're doing here because we're amateurs. And we realized that we took a half an hour just to bullshit, and we didn't know how long this was going to take. So what we're going to try to do is power through the Geeky, since we already said we were going to do them. Right. And it's like supposed to be the whole fucking episode. So we're going to power through them. Kind of like the Oscars. If we hit too long, I'll smack something.
Play some music and cut us off.
Yeah. I'll find a hook.
Right.
Play some music. That'd be fun. I got to find some music. All right. So we got our episode Geekies are going to be random things that we just came up with off the top of our head. So I think we could probably save best movie for the last one. Best overall movie, anyway. I'll jump off with, say, best superhero TV show.
All right.
And for me, I think just because overall, I don't get to watch a lot of TV, but for me, it's I sit down a few times a week and watch TV with my wife, and we watch a couple things together. And for as far as our show goes, I think The Flash is one of the ones that's really huge.
It's a great show.
I think I know where you're gonna go, but for me, just The Flash is just because it's while every one of those shows has got that like CW young angsty vibe, all of them. It's always like I always wait for the forlorn look.
Right.
I'm like, oh, for God's sake, can you just tell a story? But outside of that, it's been consistent through like most of its run. You know that I've enjoyed it. Arrow was kind of up and down, whatever, but overall, I like that one. Can I take a stab at yours?
Sure.
Titans.
It's on my list.
Ha. Okay. Go ahead.
I think my pick would be Young Justice Outsiders. It is.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
It's on DC Universe. It's been gone for a while. They brought it back for a season 3. Young Justice started on Cartoon Network, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah. In like 2012-ish, 2013-ish, something like that. The first one was Robin and Superboy and Miss Martian and some of the, Kid Flash. And then the second season, I think it took them another year to do a second season, so there was a year off. It was Robin becomes Nightwing, and it grows up a little. Then it's been I think a 3-year break, and now it's back, and
it ended kind of on a cliffhanger, right?
Yes, and there's this really cool, like, at first they were this, they all wanted to be in the Justice League, and now it's this really cool team that is doing some things that Justice League can't because of they're sort of hamstrung the way in the Marvel universe with the Accords that happened in Civil War.
Okay.
The same thing sort of happens in this universe, so it's really good. Titans, which is also live action on the DC universe, is on my list, just in case you picked something similar. And then I don't know if you're watching this, but this is not really a superhero TV show, but one of the best shows. Are you watching Cobra Kai on YouTube?
No, because it was on YouTube Red, and
so it was on. Yeah, it may have been, but I've seen a couple on regular YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I don't have YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
so
the Karate
Cobra
Kid.
Kai is the Karate Kid from the '80s, but it's current day.
They got everybody back. They got Daniel back. They got Johnny back. They got obviously Mr. Miyagi back because rest in peace. But yeah, and it picks up the story, and Daniel is a very successful car dealer, and winning the All Valley tournament sort of, makes him a quote unquote winner, and Johnny is this kind of loser. And the things that happen are really great. And like I said, they got everybody back. It was just a really cool show.
All right, I definitely got to watch that. So, all right, and what we'll do is we won't spoil anything in any of these awards, so that way you can kind of go back and check out some of the stuff we're talking about. Yeah. But I did hear that they do kind of like touch on. There's a whole internet joke about how Daniel's really, the bad guy of the movie or whatever,
Yep.
And I know they touch on that in that series a little bit, yeah. So I definitely want to go back and see that. So okay, that's on my list to go watch. All right, so that's TV show. Go ahead, pop one out.
Let's do best hero.
All right, let's see. I went first. Go ahead.
All right, so I've got two. My first one's going to be Aquaman.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of good superhero movies this
movie
year.
Aquaman?
Yeah, movie Aquaman. And this may be sort of a recency bias because it's the thing I've seen most recently, but I really like how Jason Momoa played Aquaman. Really good movie.
Yeah.
And so that was my first. And then I went Jack from The Incredibles 2. Like, look, he's got every power there is.
Yes,
right?
You're right. So, I would love to see what happens to him later on.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd agree. Aquaman. Side note to Aquaman, just you have to go watch the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Oh yeah, we saw that this Saturday.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
good. So you saw. All right, mild spoiler for anybody. There are both versions of Aquaman in this movie, and when you see the current Jason Momoa Aquaman as a Lego running around, whatever, real brief, but like at one point he goes to jump over something and he does that patented woo, whatever, like he does, not the Will Smith woo, Jason Momoa one, the cool one. And then at the very end, you watch the credits, and it really was Jason Momoa. It wasn't someone doing a voice. But, yeah, so that tickled me. Like, they had both Aquaman. Like, the one was just standing there like... Except they said, like, original Aquaman.
Yeah, they're like, all that's left is original Aquaman. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just standing there like, son of a bitch. Yeah. So, yeah, that made me laugh. But, yeah, so Jason Momoa, you have won the hearts of everybody and their mother to be Aquaman from here on out. Yep. So, my best hero for 2018, I think, personally, would be Captain America. I was going to go a joke and say Thanos because he's the hero of his own movie,
right?
Infinity War, but we'll say that one for later. That's a good discussion as we get into Endgame because he is the hero of his own story
in his own head. Yeah.
But I think Captain America mainly because throughout that entire and it's all of it leading up. So a lot of it's got to do with the history of going up into this movie, but throughout Infinity War. You see, he never gives up that ideal. He's going to be there for the little man, and he stresses we don't trade lives like he's done. He does not give up that moral that he's had, and it's everything. Every time I see Chris Evans as Captain America, it kind of like, yeah, that's exactly how I envision Cap. You know, so he's like, he's the one through line through all that he's going to stand the line.
Yeah.
So.
He, my wife and I just watched, I got her to watch Infinity War this weekend, and it was interesting to see it again and catch some things I didn't see the first time. But when he and Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and Falcon come in the room, and Rhodey is having that sort of virtual reality meeting with the secretary, and he's like, the Earth is in danger, and if you're going to stop us, I'll fight you too. And you're like, yep, that's what Cap does.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's maybe not my favorite hero overall throughout all the stories. Like, growing up, my favorite superhero was Spider-Man. Spider-Man for Marvel, Batman for DC, whatever. Yep. But for as far as for 2018, Cap takes it for me because I think he's really he hit it, and then he's gonna really move forward with Endgame, and I think that's gonna be sad. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, let's jump down. So since we just did best hero, let's go with best villain. All right. My best villain is the DCEU for not knowing what the hell they're doing. All right, seriously, I think you guys are on the right game. We were just talking about this like last episode, so we'll leave it at that. I think you guys are starting to get it right. and I offered my services to you because I think I straightened it all out when we discussed Batman. I pretty much straightened out your entire effing universe. Yep. So call me. You can still do this. But I think my best villain is Thanos, really. I had it kind of like it was a toss-up between him and Killmonger for me.
Me too.
Because I really liked Killmonger. But again, the only thing that really lost it to me was at the very end when he just... And I got what they were going for with the whole, he's another Black Panther because that's the whole story. Thanos did it for me because he was the best villain because exactly what I said in the theater, and we've said it before. When my wife leaned over to me after he described why he was doing what he was doing, she was like, he's not wrong.
Right.
And I said, that's what makes him the best villain.
Right.
Because the best villain is not always wrong. It's just where does your moral compass lie?
Yep.
And okay, they're going to try to find another way. He said, no, this is the way. So I really, and I like the way they developed him, where it was just a quick glance in Avengers, and then it was a little bit more, and then when he shows up, damn,
right?
When he's there, fine, I'll do it myself. No, you ain't ready for that.
Right.
And everyone's getting their ass whooped, and that's exactly what you expect out of Thanos.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we talked about this last week. Like he has a mission. He goes about it, and when at the end of the movie of Infinity War, when young Gamora says, "Did you do it?" And he says, "Yes." And she says, "What did it cost you?" And he says, "Everything." I mean, it really does, right?
You see it on his face,
right?
There's
see it
anguish
on his face
for
him,
yeah.
And he wasn't going to end that mission until he did the snap. He's got Thor throw Stormbreaker in his chest, and in his last, what seems like it's going to be his last act, he's like, "You should have gone for the head," and then he does it, and he doesn't give up. Like I said in my rant about Killmonger, where he kind of does give up.
Yeah,
Thanos does not.
Yeah, and which to me is what makes him the best villain
Yeah.
because he said, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yep.
And when I'm done, I'm going to sit and watch the sunset on a grateful universe. And that's exactly what he did. And all you sons of bitches sat in that theater with me and were shocked.
Yep.
And there you go. So that's my boy, Thanos. Part of me is going to hate to see you go in April, but sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I think they're coming for the head this time.
That's right.
How about you?
Yeah, I had Thanos.
Okay. There you go. So
it was between Thanos and Killmonger, but yeah, I went Thanos.
All right, there we go. Is that a high five? Hey. Hey, did we just become
I was going to say.
All right, that's it. We're gonna have to come up with something every time we agree on something. All right, so this best villain. I'll do another one, and then it's your turn.
All right.
I'll skip over to I can't talk. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go back to like grade school and start taking speech lessons to see if I can't fix this shit. Best superhero gadget.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna come up with everything Shuri made in Black Panther.
Yeah.
That's just hands down. She's gonna come up again in my list, but wow.
Yeah.
Like that. She puts Tony Shark. Here, Tony Shark.
Tony Shark. Do.
There you go. That's for you guys. Oh God. Okay. If anybody listens to this long enough to get to that
that was funny.
Make a comment.
Yeah,
that was great. Thank you. Because we looked at each other at the same time. We're like, "Hey, look." Oh God, we're on the same page. It's sad. It's a lonely page.
We're both 6.
Yeah, it's a very lonely page. It's just the two of us. But everything Shuri made, she puts Tony Stark to shame. That was it. I was trying to say Tony Stark to shame, and I fucked them all up. But now again, he's very he's great in all these movies, and we'll touch on something I heard in next week when we talk. Whenever we get into the Avengers Endgame, somebody came up with a theory about something they saw in the trailer, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good one." So, but something to do with him. Everything she does in that movie is just ridiculously awesome. Yeah, and then you get into like Infinity War. Between Black Panther and Infinity War, the amount of shit that they show that she can do, taking apart Vision.
I love the scene where she's like, "Well, why didn't you just make them all work together in the thing?" And Banner's like, "Because we didn't think of it."
Yeah. He's just like, "Okay."
Yeah.
It was exactly like a parent talking to a child. He was like, yeah. So she's everything she made in, because she does like his suit
Yep.
it takes the impact and then gives him power. Come on, really?
Yeah.
That's just genius. That everybody should have that.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a superhero, that's what you need.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So so all the stuff she came up with was awesome. Those are my favorite gadgets. How about you?
I have that. I had specifically the little balls that are on their bracelets in Black Panther that can produce the hologram that scanned the CIA agent when he shot.
Yeah.
All those. I have the Elasticycle, Elastigirl's motorcycle in Incredibles.
Nice.
I don't know if those count because they're animated, but whatever. I thought that was cool.
No, it all falls into our realm.
And then,
because I would go for like the suits that they wear, like Edna comes up with the suit to help Jack. Because
and then the in Teen Titans Go to the Movies, those time travel bikes that are like big wheels.
Thank you.
Yeah, that run on radness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I totally forgot about that. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, you know what? I think you just beat out Shuri on that one. All right, go ahead. Your turn.
Let's do best fight.
Whew, okay.
This was hard to nail down.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so I've got the Mission Impossible Fallout fight in the bathroom.
Oh, with Super Stash.
Yeah. But like he rips the bottom pipe from under the sink,
right?
And he's using it offensively and defensively, and then Henry Cavill comes in. Like that's an amazing fight scene.
Yeah, it was really cool. Well, hell, if you want to go on that note, I totally forgot, but it just popped in my head now. It's not my choice at all, but we'll throw in the fight that is one of your options in Bandersnatch.
Yes,
which you'll find out tonight.
Right.
Well, sorry, you'll find out last week from this episode because we're recording on the night that episode drops. There's one fight scene in Bandersnatch that you find, and it's really cool. Mine was the Avengers / Guardians / Doctor Strange versus Thanos on Titan.
Yeah,
I really liked the way they choreographed that whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Strange dropping the portals for Star-Lord to jump on, and he drops the explosion, the explosive pack on him, and flips him off as he's going through.
Yep.
Every little thing, Spider-Man trying to call out what he's doing as he's going, and then Thanos grabs him. That whole scene was like perfect to me. That to me was a comic come to life, and where in a universe of comics come to life, that was like your big. What do you call the crossover comics, right? Like the Infinity Gauntlet and all everything. That was that come to life for me, where I was like, okay, the beginning where you saw like Strange and Iron Man in New York City, whatever, that was building up. But when you started to get into that, you knew you were in the shit, because it went from that to Wakanda to and that fight,
the Wakanda fight scenes are amazing.
If you go Wakanda, to me, and the first thing that stood out to me with the whole Wakanda fight was how they paid attention to Black Panther and Cap running ahead of everybody.
Yep.
And like how they just outdistanced everybody. That was perfect. Like every little detail they did was just perfect in this movie. I really can't think of anything they did wrong. So like that fight on Titan, I think was one that stood out to me just because it really encompassed everything you wanted as a comic fan.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought, having seen it just recently, in the beginning of that first fight with Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Spider-Man at some point, when Doctor Strange and Wong, what's his name? Wong.
Yeah.
No offense. Do their circle things that can drop you somewhere else. At some point, they do a thing, and one of the guys loses an arm.
Yeah.
And so I thought, after seeing it, I'm like, why didn't they just do that and take Thanos' arm off at the glove?
Yeah.
Although it's probably too easy.
We talked about that before.
But since they did it early in the movie, thinking back on it, I'm like, well, they should have just done that.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
you also think
do it in a way
was like setting it up.
Do it in a way like in that fight scene on Titan, because both Strange is there and Tony Stark when they cut that thing's arm off, is make a portal, push Thanos in it, close it off, right? Glove ends up somewhere, call somebody and go get it.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
It's kind of a cop out.
If you get,
it's kind of a cop out.
Yeah. But now also, plus in movie making too, though, if you think about it, it almost looked like they were kind of setting it up for you to think that, But I guess when you're getting like an entire moon dropped on your head,
Right.
you're not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
So, but that was one of the things. In fact, like it was in those the cartoon, like How It Should Have Ended, or one of those.
Mm-hmm.
There was like dorkly.com. You guys got to go and look some of these funny animations up where like these guys do all kinds of them, and they did a whole bunch of like it's a series of them, like real quick, like 30-second spots of how Infinity War could have ended, and one of them was exactly that. Like he's getting ready to fight, and then Strange just goes bloop, and cuts his hand off.
Right.
And Thanos is standing there like, what the fuck? Yeah.
So a couple of my other entries for best fight, the Netflix series Daredevil.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good fights in that series. Beginning of season 3, he fights Bullseye.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? And so they're in like this vacant office, and Bullseye is using finds a baseball on a guy's desk and he banks it off the wall and hits him in the face. He's using like stapler and scissors and just winging him, and
right.
like the scissors end up in his chest, and it's a really good fight.
Yeah, because and Daredevil was always like one of those really good series to me, so I'm gonna miss it. Wondering if they're gonna wind up trying, because they've been kind of vague on whether or not they can do anything with any of that stuff. But I'd like to see them try to maybe even take a year off or whatever, and try to make some kind of resurgence with some of that stuff.
Yeah,
because it was good. The first season, that hallway fight.
Yeah,
everyone talks about that one.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So yeah, Daredevil is up there in all the fight scenes. I think it's really cool. All right. Okay, surprise performance. That one was kind of hard for me because I wasn't like, surprised. I don't know. But the one I wasn't expecting much out of, but I was hoping for. And I went with the Alan Ehrenreich, kid who played Solo. Because everybody was complaining about this movie going into it. And I was like, just give me a good movie, And I've said it before a couple times with us talking. When you watch that movie, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's a really good origin movie for Han Solo. And there are certain times in that movie where this kid makes a face and it looks just like Harrison Ford. And you're like, oh, So he does enough to get you lost in the character. And that was enough for me, So that was my take on the surprise performance, because I really was not expecting the way people were complaining about it. I was like, oh God, this is gonna suck.
It was better than I thought it was gonna be.
So it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. So yeah, so I give him all the props in the world. So I would love to see them make actually, you know what? Now that we're on that, I'll give an alternate or a co-winner to that one. Donald Gleason.
Donald Glover.
Glover.
Yeah.
Donald Gleason. What the hell am I doing? Donald Glover. Oh my God. Lando. Never mind. Yeah, he looks just like Lando.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see a Lando movie now. So yeah, so the two of them did a really bang up job on that movie. So, all right, how about you? What do you got?
So I have one from a movie, which is weird because I really haven't seen it. But everybody, as they talk about it,
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to tell you about it.
Yeah,
I sound like everybody on the internet. All right, go ahead.
The guy from The Office, John Krasinski, in A Quiet Place.
Yes. Okay. And I have not seen that yet either, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, and I've heard he's really good in it, although there's not a lot of talking. You just don't expect the guy from The Office to do that good in a movie like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, nobody expected Chris Pratt to have abs when
Correct.
Guardians came out, but and they even touched on that in Lego.
Yep.
That was so great. This is all hidden behind some baby fat.
Yeah.
So funny. All right. Let's see. Bounce into. Did you have anything for best comic?
I do. It's Crowded by Christopher Sabella. It's new this year, and it's crazy because it's not a comic that I would have collected or read when I was in my massive collecting days. It's an Image comic. It's not really superhero based, but there's this app called Reaper, and you essentially crowdfund assassinations of just about anybody. Nice. And this girl finds herself, she's just doing her thing, and someone takes a shot at her, and she figures out that she's on it, and there's $1 million on her head. Oh wow. Yeah. Nice.
All right, I'm gonna look into that one. I haven't been to getting into too many recent comics lately. I'm slowly getting back into it to the point now where you and I are gonna have to start making runs and making our wives mad.
And I will tell you that the really good part about doing this podcast and thinking about this stuff and talking about this stuff, it made me go find a comic series. And so I was looking at some and I'm like, well, that sounds interesting. And it's something I never would have read when I was doing, mostly superhero comics.
We definitely have to get into some other, we have to get out to some of these comic stores here pretty soon and do a couple of interesting episodes.
Yeah.
For me, two I read. One when I was talking to you about doing these awards, and this is the one that's not quite 2018, but it's been ongoing, and I read the whole thing in the last 2 weeks. It was Darth Vader. It was like 1 through 25.
I've heard about that.
It's really, really good.
Is that right?
Yeah. Kind of tells the whole story in between when he first becomes Vader. Shows how he gets his saber. In 25, spoiler alert-ish, they kind of discuss a little bit more of his parentage as far as like the whole story that Palpatine tells him.
Okay.
You have to read it. I won't spoil that much, but there's something in there that they discuss the whole miraculous conception kind of thing, whatever, and it's in there, and it kind of makes sense, sort of. And when you watch, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get. Yeah, when you read the comic, you're like, all right, I get it. The other one that I'm ongoing on is Walking Dead. I just finished the last couple. The show is quickly catching up. There you go. Also, the show just dropped Sunday. Episode 9 we're on now. The back half of episode 9.
Right.
Season 9. Jesus, episode 9. Yeah, no, we're on episode 9. The back half of season 9 just dropped, and they're in the middle, they're in the beginning of the whole Whisperers and everything, and that's a really good arc. In the comics, they're past that, and they're on something else, but it's a really good ongoing series. Now, the show and the comic have kind of diverged from each other as far as characters go, but they're still talking about, like, the Whisperers and this and that, whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see what happens here. So I'm really looking forward to that show there. So that, I guess I can kind of get thrown onto the TV stuff, too. I want to see what they do there. But the comic is just something that I just cannot stop reading. And then the last one that I just started looking into, because I read about it, only because I thought Marvel was like kind of taking a swing for the fences, and from what I've read, people are enjoying it. They started Age of X-Men.
Oh, really?
Which is, you remember the Age of Apocalypse,
mm-hmm.
and you remember the alternate universe X-Man, who was that version of Cable, came over. Well, now it's something else happened with reality, and it's Age of X-Man. And basically, he's like a god. Or something, and that's all I've got out of this so far. But people are like, it's pretty good.
That's awesome.
So that's what I'm, I guess, anticipated for what's coming up. But I think that's supposed to be like, it just started like the end of 2018 or just started 2019. So we'll kind of disqualify that one, but that's what I'm looking forward to. So if anyone's read any of it, let me know if you think it's good. I'm going to start reading it this week. So that's the comic. What the hell was that one? That was here. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to, all right, best sci-fi movie. I got 3 on there. Kind of the second place and third place I kind of toss up here and there. Well, all 3 of them kind of interchangeable for what they are. But in third place, I'd throw in Ready Player One. I liked it just for the nostalgia feel that it had, and just like we discussed it before, where you like, the book, you can't touch the book, and I get that, but it was good for what it was. It really it hooked me. I was like, okay, I'd like to see what they do with this, and they did a good job with this. That was third place for me. Second place was Solo. I just overall it was a Star Wars movie, but it hit. I was like, all right, you did good. And honestly, first place for me was Bumblebee.
Is that right?
Yeah. It was from the minute the trailer hit, and we discussed it a few times in here, I was like, this trailer's got me hooked, and I'm going to get mad. And I said it. And then I watched it, and I told you, no, it's good.
Yeah.
So you finally nailed it. You gave me that 80s feel. Like every time you see a Transformer on there, they look like the 80s cartoon. And they did what they managed to do with this movie, which is why it's number one on my sci-fi movie list, is they understood that they were trying to make a quote-unquote prequel to the first Bay Transformers with Shia LaBeouf and whatever. And they do enough nods in this movie for that. But they also do just enough in this movie to, if they want to say, you know what, we understood that you didn't really like this Bay stuff, so we're going to kind of not really do it. We're going to redo everything from now on.
Right. You
could. So and again, with a lot of this stuff that we talk about, we always say it's that fine line you got to walk, and they walk it perfectly in this movie. So I'm like, all right, you nailed it. So to me, that was like the best sci-fi movie.
Yeah, mine was Solo. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was better than what I had read about it and heard about it. So I liked it. I loved the interplay between young Han and Chewie. Loved Donald Glover in it as Lando, and then the scene at the very end in which you've always heard that he wins the Millennium Falcon in a card game.
Yeah. But
to see it happen was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole I won it fair and square.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They did it really well. The whole, 12 parsecs thing, they did it as best they could. And I always thought it was going to be something to do with wormholes and black holes or whatever, time and distance. And they did as best they could with that. And they could have stuck a little bit more close, or they could have stuck closer to the legends where they actually said, yeah, it was a wormhole thing, And they tried, they did what they could with it. They tried to make it their own. And yeah, I like I said, I loved it. I think the Aaron Wright kid did a great job, and I'd like to see him come back. I don't know what else they do. There's a window there that they can keep going between there and A New Hope, but I don't know how much more they can do.
Yeah.
Well, hell, you know what? At this point, they can. Harrison Ford's done. You could wait a few years, then age him up with makeup, and do after Return of the Jedi. Just tell a few runs with like him and Chewie doing what I mean.
Right.
You can do something there, but yeah, Solo was really good. All right, what else you got?
Most shocking moment. I think for me it was the snap and the character dusting at the end of Infinity War.
Now, was it the fact that they actually had the balls to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the entire time you're thinking, this movie's been going on for a while. Everyone's getting their ass handed to them. He's getting all the Infinity stuff. How are we going to get out of this? Like, how are we going to wrap this up? And then they keep talking about he could wipe out half the universe with the snap of his fingers. And then Thor comes in, and you're like, oh, that's how we're going to wrap this up. Thor's going to take care of it, no problem. And then he kind of knocks him down, and he throws Stormbreaker at him, and it lands in his chest. And you're like, well, this is going to be unsatisfying because we're so close, and now that's just how. And then
there was that part of it for me, that old geek part was like, really?
Yeah, this is how we're going to wrap this up. And then he does it, and then people start dusting and dropping. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. No way. No, please. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And even knowing that they've got, movies coming out and you watch Black Panther dust and you watch Spider-Man dust and you watch Star-Lord dust and you're just like, now what are we going to do? Now you've done it now. That's why, to me, it was the most surprising because no one else does that, right? No one else kills those characters. Even though we'll figure this out in Endgame, for now they're gone, and you've got to figure it. Now everyone's talking and have been talking for about a year on how are we going to get them back.
Yeah. No, that was really good, and I had that up there in mind, for the same reason. Just, and I've said it time and again when we talk on this podcast, that the fact that they actually had the nerve to do it, I was like, thank you, God. You know what everybody wants, and you did it. So that was up there for me. But actually, for me, and it's going to sound like a joke, but I swear to God this is true. The most shocking moment for me is when DC made an awesome Aquaman movie. Because I wanted that to be a joke, but holy shit. Again, and I've said this at least 3 times, just me and you talking on here on mic. if you had told me, how many times I said I'm going to say this?
Yeah.
If you had told little me that I'd be looking forward to watching a friggin' Aquaman movie,
Yeah.
I'd have told you were crazy.
Right. Right.
That movie was great.
Yeah.
And we've discussed it already. Just the only hem and haw I had with it was maybe some of the like how they decided to do some of the underwater stuff as far as like the fighting and stuff. Like, okay, you got like it basically looked like an air battle underwater.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe you might have gone a different route with that, but that was like nitpicking. Overall, I loved the whole movie, and I was like, really? And I honestly went in there hoping it was going to be good, and just like, God, because it's always like a coin toss with these guys, and it was great. Yeah. And again, we went back to from there and Wonder Woman, I know how to fix your stuff, so call me. So there's your most shocking moment was Aquaman is like one of the best DC heroes ever. So there you go. All right, best supporting hero or sidekick.
Oh,
all right. I said she's gonna pop back up here. Shuri, Black Panther.
Yeah.
She just, I don't know. She's amazing. She puts Tony Stark to shame. I did it again. There you go. I got it right. She just like it's her matter of fact. You know, the way the actress plays her, she does. It's like, no, this is just me, and I'm good at this, and whatever. You know, why didn't you think of this? You know, that kind of thing. Like it's just natural to her. So why shouldn't you do this? You know, I love everything about her in the two movies that we've seen her in, and I look forward to hopefully seeing her. I'm sure she'll be back at some point. Yeah, I look forward to seeing her and the kind of shit she gets into. I'd love to see something happen in Endgame where she's still alive.
Does she get dusted?
They don't say it.
Yeah, they don't. I don't.
And in the trailer, you do see her on the screen that Bruce Banner's looking at as far as missing heroes.
Is that right?
You see her, but you don't.
They don't
you
show
really
it.
No, yeah, she's on one of the screens. It's like real quick.
Okay.
In the first trailer, she pops up there, or it was a promotional thing, but I think it was a trailer. She's on there, and then nobody knows what happens to her. I would have loved to have seen. I don't know what they're going to do, but in Endgame, since her brother is gone, if she takes on the mantle of Black Panther for a little while, because well, one, they're going to need her to help create whatever the hell they're going to create to fight Thanos, but someone's got to fill that void too, and it's not going to be what's his name, M'Baku, whatever.
Right.
M'Baku, yeah. It could be him, but she's his sister, so you would think she would step in and be like, "Hey, you know, it's me, and if you want to fight me, well, you know, I'll use one of my 16 bazillion gadgets to fuck your ass up." So yeah, so I'd like to see her in the Black Panther suit real quick, at least for a little while in Endgame. Yeah, and since it's going to bounce around for a little while, hey, you know.
So I've got mine is same movie, different character, General Okoye.
Yeah,
Black Panther.
Yeah.
She is a badass.
Yes, she is.
And I like the parts where, so in the scene where I can't remember the character's name, the one that kind of sells him out and becomes the aide to Killmonger, the one who's with Okoye, where he's like, Would you kill me, my love? And she's like, for Wakanda, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's badass there. And then in Infinity War, when she and Black Panther are walking to meet the Quinjet, and she goes, when you said you were gonna open up Wakanda, I thought it'd be different. He's like, what'd you expect? She goes, the Olympics, maybe a Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, this is a great line.
Yeah.
And her and Black Widow,
yeah,
whooping ass on what's her face?
Yeah,
but like
she is whipping all kinds of ass in Black Panther, in the scene where the sort of tribes go to fight each other, and she's looking at the guy she's dating, and she's about to whip his ass, and I mean she's taken 5 or 6 people down. She's balls. So,
yep, I love her, and if you want to see more of her, watch Walking Dead. She's Michonne.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah, she whips ass. Yeah. At least for a little while. Rumor is that she's leaving.
Oh.
I don't know. Whatever.
I'm so far behind on Walking Dead. It's not funny.
I didn't know where you were going with that comment.
What do you got for best toy/video game?
All right. I actually came up with two. I wrote one down and then I thought of one on the way home. The first one I got is on the Nintendo Switch. Noah's got it. It's the NES Classics. Okay. And I know we talked about it a couple times on here where I even want to have the kids sit down and play them. I've gotten on there, numerous times now, just kind of piddled around a little bit here and there. And it just brings me back to the 80s. You know, I'm like, oh my God, wow. Trying to play pro wrestling, and it's funny too because, again, a lot of the controls suck. But then you got to take the 2-button D-pad controller, and then you're trying to figure that out on a big controller. Right. So you've only got the 2 buttons that you're trying to hit, and so it takes some getting used to there too. But it's all right there, and they're dumping more and more on all the time. I can't wait to see what else they do there. I can't wait. Hopefully they'll get into what I've heard. Rumor is that Nintendo is cracking down on a lot of the emulators now because they want to come up with something, and I'm thinking it's on the Switch, where you can play everything from NES, Game Boy, SNES, 64, all of it. So instead of people trying to get emulators, they'll have it. Yeah. You'll pay a subscription, you can get whatever you want, and I'll pay it. The other one I had, and we haven't done it yet, but because I know it's easy enough for Noah to play, I'd like to play it with him. They just dropped Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay. And my oldest son used to play, he still drops stuff on Facebook about, Kingdom Hearts or whatever. I knew about it because when he was home last time, came to visit, we went to Disney Springs and they actually had a preview of Kingdom Hearts 3. And he was like, I want to go try it. So you had to sign up for it. And he was like, I signed up like 3 people. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So I went with him, and we took Noah. And all 3 of us stood there at the little screens, and we played. And it looked really cool. It's like you're part of a Nintendo game. And I remember everything that he did. I never really played the other 2, but I know you can get them for the same system now. So I want to go back and get like the whole package. Right. And go sit down with like Noah and play it, So, and of course, our oldest one, Jeff, will be home in 2 more days. So I'll probably sit down with him and try to figure out where we can go get him, and we'll just go get him while he's home, and we can take turns, me, him, and Noah playing.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
So that was me.
Yeah, mine is, and I don't know if it came out this year, but we got it this year. I know one of them did. The Atari Flashback, the 2600, and the Commodore 64 Flashback. Those are a blast, and it's so much more about the nostalgia and just having fun playing it with my son, who's 7. Mm-hmm. The graphics are worse than I remember, and the gameplay is hard with that weird Atari joystick that doesn't fit well in one hand, and the one button. But just watching him, just having fun playing those really simple games. The football with the 3 players that flash all the time because it's too much for the processor to handle. Yeah, just that stuff. But we had a blast playing Combat. It's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I still, you've got to bring that over here so we can sit down, just me and you, and play it.
Yeah, right.
That'll be fun.
That would be fun.
Pour a couple of drinks and start playing some Atari 2600. Yep. That'd be great. All right, so that was a video game. Let me see. Briefly, we can jump on to best horror movie or character.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The only horror movie that I really got to watch, which I'm kicking... Okay. The only horror movie from 2018 that I got to watch this year, because I watched a whole bunch of random shit online, was the Halloween sequel.
Me too.
And that was amazing. I thought it was great. But if I was going to pick something that stuck with me over the last couple of years, it would have to be the It remake from 2017. Right. That just floored me. And it just had me like so... It had me in such anticipation for the one coming out this year. I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be great. and it caused a Stephen King renaissance kind of, again, where when we were growing up, it was funny, 'cause again, just like everything else when we were growing up is now coming back around.
Mm-hmm.
Even Stephen King movies.
Right. Yeah.
You had a whole bunch of them when we were kids that were like, yeah, they're all right, and a few of them were good. Now they're cranking out a whole bunch of them, but now you're getting these directors and studios that are like, oh, we can really do something with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had It, and then you have Pet Sematary coming out, which looks really good, and we'll touch on that next show. We'll talk about some of the stuff coming up here as we get into closer to the movie coming out. But I just watched another trailer of that. It looks epic. And there's a few other ones that are coming out now. So it started another resurgence with him. So it stands out to me more than Halloween.
Yeah. But
I really, really enjoyed Halloween.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see them do something else with it.
I did too. And it was enjoyable. It sounds weird because it's a horror movie and a lot of people die. But it was back to that kind of movie when we were growing up that you just sort of forget stuff and it was just enjoyable time at the movies. I loved how they did it in a more realistic fashion with the Jamie Lee Curtis character kind of having that PTSD that she would, having survived what she survived. And now thinking about that, we should have put the fight between her and Michael Myers as one of our best fights.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing was pretty good at the end. But
see, that's for you guys. You can come back. Hindsight's 2020. You can Monday morning quarterback this thing and tell us where we got it wrong.
But yeah, it was just really well done and a fun movie, subject matter aside. But I really liked it. Yeah.
All right. So Halloween for 2018, but it overall I think was the better one.
So we got one more before we hit our Best Picture, Best Ass Whipping. And when I sent this to you, I was like, I'm not sure who should. If you were to present this award, I'm not sure if you present it to the ass whipper or the ass whippy.
He just wanted to say whippy.
Yeah, but I think for me it was Thanos beating Hulk's ass.
That was the first one on my list, though. Yeah,
and it starts, Loki's talking to him and blah blah blah, and he goes, "We have a Hulk," and he just, he runs in and bum rushes him, and then Thanos just takes him apart to the point
systematically.
Yeah. To the point that he doesn't show up for the rest of the movie. Like, he refuses to come out.
Yeah. He's like, no, you got my ass whooped. I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, you only calling me out for this bullshit. And we'll touch on that, too. That's the reason he's not coming out. That's my theory. We're going to talk about that later on.
Like, that's the first time he's ever been hurt.
With them. Well, it's more, to me, it's the first time he's been hurt. But as far as psychologically, Hulk is done just coming out to be used. Right. He wants to be a part of something. So, and we'll touch on that later when we get ready for Endgame. Yeah. But yeah, to me, this was the same one. The other one I had was Killmonger on Black Panther. Yeah. When he first whips his ass and then
throws him over the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really good. But that was like my honorable mention there. But the Thanos on Hulk, mainly because the audience is just as shocked as Hulk. Mm-hmm. Because up until this point, Hulk just takes out everybody and numerous people at once. Thanos, and then just the way they set that entire scene, where Hulk comes out and takes him by surprise for a second, and then Thanos starts to use his knowledge and he starts to take him out bit by bit. He's hitting nerve points, whatever. And then when the rest of the Black Order starts to walk, and Ebony Maw just. No, let him have his fun.
Right.
That part was like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And he whips the shit out of this dude. Yeah. Just after he says, no, let him have his fun, I was like, uh-oh. Yeah. This is going to be bad.
And it's used in a couple things. Like, it definitely demonstrates Thanos' strength. Yeah. And if you remember Star Trek The Next Generation, did you ever watch that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a trope of... everything, the way that you demonstrated how strong a character was on Next Generation was it beat Worf's ass. Right? And so anything that came on, if you wanted to very quickly tell the audience, well, this thing's really strong, is Worf steps up and this thing drops him. Yep. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yep. And that's exactly what they did.
That's exactly what this was.
And if you think about it, when you watch that thing, at least in the theater, that was the first reaction everybody had was, holy shit. Yeah. And not only, okay, strength-wise, you saw he could take on the Hulk, but then when you threw in the way he did it, you saw he's smart.
Yep.
So you're like, oh, damn, he's systematic. He's going to be hell.
Yep.
And, well, the whole movie went off of that beat. So, yeah, that was the best beat down to me.
Yep.
So, Hulk, sorry you an ass whoopee. You won't be in Endgame. I'm pretty sure you got a comeback coming. And we're going to talk about that, too. The only thing I'm going to say here, because I wanted to drop a picture that I saw, is the one of the promotional arts for the Endgame. Look at Hulk and look at his face. You're going to have to go back and look, and I'm going to put it on our Facebook. The face on this Hulk looks more like Ruffalo than ever.
Oh, really?
Which goes to what we were talking about with the Professor Hulk, where they're going to, like right at the end, he was like, Hulk, we got a lot to talk about, buddy. They're going to come to some type of an agreement, and I think you're going to have a Hulk that's talking in Bruce Banner's voice, and so he's going to be Professor Hulk. Yeah. He's going to be the smart Hulk, which is a really cool character because he still goes into those rages, but at the same time, he's like putting together like nuclear shit.
Right,
so,
right.
So he's just like 8 feet tall. But when you look at the picture of him with all the other Avengers, he's wearing the suit just like them, but his face doesn't look like the progression from the other movies. This looks like Mark Ruffalo. Yeah. So yes, I think they're going that route, which is gonna be cool.
Interesting.
So yeah, best story. There were 2 routes I went. I'll go. The first one was, I already touched on it though, was Bumblebee, for how it fit either way they wanted to go with the story.
Right.
I like both of that. And then overall, really, for me, the bottom line was Infinity War. You had a story that managed to take 20-something movies, 10 years worth of history, and wrap it into one cohesive story, and it went flawless.
Yeah.
So for me, that was it. That was the big one.
Yeah, I went, that was on my list. I went Black Panther. I think that it created a new world of Wakanda that we didn't have before, rounded out a hero that got introduced in Civil War, but not many people had much experience with, and did it in a really cool way that started with a flashback and then comes back to now, but sets up the whole, how does vibranium work and that whole thing. So for me, it was Black Panther. But yeah, Infinity War is amazing.
Yeah. And let's see. All right, so I'm down to my last one. I know you had a couple that you wanted to bring in for next year. You want to do those after this, or you want to just...
Yeah, we'll do it after this.
Okay. All right, so the last one, finally, the last Geekie for 2018 would be Best Movie.
Yeah.
I think we might have gotten the same one on this one.
Yeah.
I've got Avengers Infinity War.
I do too.
All right.
Yeah. And it was close. Black Panther's my number 2.
Yeah.
And it's close. I just think, to what you just said, so many movies building to this, from the first time you see the Tesseract in Captain America and it turns out to be an Infinity Stone, you're building that entire time. You're building really from Iron Man 1, but you start mentioning the things that are part of this in the first Captain America movie. You've got all of these stars, legit A-listers, all on the screen at the same time, and you didn't hear any of this diva attitude stuff that people complaining about screen time or whatever. The different story angles that are happening between Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, the Guardians, Rocket and Thor, like it all worked really well together.
Yeah. So that was obviously our first one. So Black Panther for you, huh? What was it?
Yeah, it's a really close tie. Like I said, it sets up and creates a world that most casual, even Marvel fans don't know much about. Black Panther's not a character that, unless you're just a hardcore, comics person that's going to collect the kind of non, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man titles, that you know much about Wakanda. But it's set up its history, its culture, its society, its tech, all that stuff. Shuri, Okoye, the tribes, the whole thing. It's a pretty intricate world that they set up and did a really good job at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, second for me was the first Purge. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I gotta go. Okay, yeah, no, we'll talk about that movie when we do our why, just why. Yeah, instead of what if geeks, it'll be why if geeks.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? There you go. That's coming up next when you come back. You'll be gone next week when we drop this episode.
Okay.
When you come back, we'll do a little what the hell. We'll put the what if in what if geeks, and we'll do like a whole series of different questioning what the hell happened with some of these movies.
Right.
But that one sucked. Black Panther, I would say was a good second, which is perfect because I think it's got a really good shot with the Oscars. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be good.
Which is good for comic movies.
Yeah, overall, all special interest groups or whatever aside, comic fans and comic movies in their own right are a special interest group, I guess, and they've been waiting for this kind of stuff. So I think it's waiting. It's going to be. You're good. My daughter just walked in. We can't go an episode without somebody rolling in here. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it lays as far as the whole, the Oscars. But I think it's got a really good chance to make it, and I'm hoping it does. So we'll see. I don't know. As far as the Oscars go, it's why I kind of did this thing with you because I don't agree with the whole Hollywood patting themselves on the back, which is why I enjoy like the Razzies and that kind of crap, So I figure like we kind of have our own good time with this. And
I can't tell you the last time I watched the actual Oscar broadcast.
No, because it's a bunch of bullshit. It's people who are patting themselves on the back and then ostracizing other people that shouldn't be.
It's mostly movies I don't see.
And we can get into later on. We'll talk about that whole like the Kevin Hart thing. I know we try. I said we try not to do the politics or whatever, but when I see dumb shit, I'll call it out too. You know what? Screw it. Ain't nobody listening to me anyway. So that whole bullshit with Kevin Hart was a pain in the ass. But we'll talk about that later. I think the Oscars are going to be, not watched in this house, but I'll check out the answers and we'll see how close we came to any of our stuff. But you guys, let us know what you think of the Geekies and what other categories you'd like to see. Like, for example, I know Paul's got a few. We'll go over those.
Yeah, I've got best chase scene for next year.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
so
cool.
So this year, thinking about Mission Impossible Fallout again, Tom Cruise on the motorcycle in Paris, or the helicopter scene, any of those.
Okay.
Those kinds of like a long chase, usually in a it's probably going to be Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Fast and Furious has already got it down.
You just want to do it now?
So Hobbs and Shaw is probably already got it. The prediction for next year, Hobbs and Shaw is going to...
It's going to be best fight. It's going to be best...
Oh, my God.
Probably best
it's going to be
chase.
It's going to be best... Are we sure we're really watching this movie?
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
That was it.
Okay. Yeah. He said he had a few. He had one.
By few, I mean one. But I'm sure we'll think of others best, Who knows?
We'll come up with a lot of stuff. We can break it down to best animated, whatever.
Best animated should be one.
Yeah, because I mean, Into the Spider-Verse would have been right up there. That was amazing.
Absolutely.
But so there you go. Post Geekies, you just won.
Right.
You won 2018 Spider-Man. So there you go. You guys, let us know everything that we talked about. What you agreed with, what you disagreed with. Send us your Florida Man / this idiot is from my hometown stories, and I'll read them out here. It'd be great to hear from anybody.
Send us an email.
Something. Message us on Facebook. I don't care. Let us know what you agree with our awards and what you guys did for Valentine's Day. And let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it.
whatifgeeks@gmail.com.
Yep, and look us up on Facebook, What If Geeks. We'll be here.
Awesome. See ya.
Later.